on theory and practice of electronic governance. For those who know me, this is a topic that I'm extremely passionate about. We are deeply honored to host you here in Nigeria. If you don't know, ours is a nation that stands at the intersection of innovation, youth, and digital transformation. And our capital city, Abuja, of course, is the embodiment of the spirit of unity and progress that our country currently represents. I shall do something simple because I think I'm the one between you and the reception, and I'm coming as the 9th or 10th speaker, which is going to be difficult for me to catch your attention, so I plan to use a few slides. And the first slide I'll introduce you to, if you can go to the next slide, actually speaks to something that I'm deeply excited about, and I tend to invest my time in it. My PhD actually is also in understanding where innovation comes from and how society organized to innovate. And this is why prevail, nations decay. And what I intend to do with my short remark today is not to tell you about e-governance or electronic governance, whichever way we choose to call it. Because it's the quality of the ideas and where they come from influence the trajectory of the society. How do we actually then move society forward? So I started toying with how to explain this. And I paid attention to what I've seen around me as a minister, not just in Nigeria, but in most countries. So I was able to turn to a theory that is called the source-balance ratio. And this is a theory that is popular in the music industry. So when they're trying to create sound, there are different levels of inputs that they have to balance. And that's what leads to the quality of what you get on the other side. This theory is also quite popular in data analysis and I think one other industry as well. And I came up with what I've been seeing around me, which is the fact that ideas into government and what leads to regulation and the role of government in society, you really can divide them into two. Of course, for those who work in government, they will recognize that the most popular sources will be, of course, civil servants, donors. They have significant influence on what we do and our regulations. The civil society, especially in Africa, they're extremely strong, but also businesses and private sector. Sometimes we see ideas from academia and think tanks, and if you're probably used to how governance is set up, in countries like the UK, you know that these two guys are also quite busy and serious in that sector. So I came up with that short theory. This is something I'm still playing with. You're the first audience to see this, by the way. So this is the first time I'm sharing it in public. Then I started thinking, linking the quality of ideas to the propensity to actually develop a society. If we go to the next one. Participation at IceGov last year. When I became a minister, a very close friend of mine who's been part of this community, Professor Geshi, I'm sure she's somewhere in the room, we should give her a round of applause, introduced me to IceGov. And IceGov for me captured everything that we laid out in our strategic blueprint. And because I'm very keen on where ideas come from to influence what we do in Abuja, I made it a mandate that Nigeria will not only participate at IceGov, but also invest in the best of our researchers to actually attend IceGov last year. And NIDA took up that responsibility and put resources behind it. And that was what led to the participation you saw last year. And I want us to take this really, really seriously. Some of us, we've been in this space for a long time. It may be something we do on a daily basis. Digital technologies are now the core of how we do things as humanities. What it is today is not what it was when IceGov was founded. Without digital technologies, without artificial intelligence, societies cannot move forward. The gaps we've seen in digital access a few years ago will be child's play compared to the gap that artificial intelligence is going to bring amongst nations. So it is important that digital technologies are no longer just seen as economic tools, but we see them as what they are because they reshape society, reshaping everything we know about ourselves and how we live, but they also shape how we govern society as well, but also citizenship significantly as well. So it is our responsibility, and I believe that there's no better platform to help humanity and society think better about how we should be balancing these different sources than platforms like IceGov. Because when we strike the balance, the emphasis will be on innovation for the benefit of humanity. Of course, the enterprises will also benefit from it. We'll ensure that our ethics is driving regulations, that regulation is not just being driven by profit, and that we're, of course, prioritizing public interest. This is my interest in the work of IceGov. This is why the government of Nigeria is prioritizing participation in IceGov. And this is why we're more than happy that you've chosen us to be the host of IceGov 2025. My talk tonight, I hope you take it as a challenge for us to do way much more to help society strengthen how regulations and policies are shaped, to help us create a balance when we think of where ideas into government emanate from. Thank you all so much for the opportunity to serve you. And before I leave, I'll